Yeah, from the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang. From the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang.
Hey, Blockhead, you were muted for that whole intro there.
Oh man, my bad. Hey, what it do, baby? It's your boy Blockhead, bringing you the absolute best in DeFi. I'm not going to say this twice, but this is not financial advice. Today, this is episode 2 of Maxis in the Trenches. Now, today I have a special guest for you. He's been around. He definitely knows his way around DeFi. Let's give a big shout out to FastAbdoul. How you doing, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. Good morning. So, yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Dude, you've been around everywhere. I mean, every day you're on a stream offering constructive criticism. What drives you? What gets you up in the morning? Why do you show up every day?
Honestly, it was never my intent to be seen as an influencer at all. I just came into the Pulse Chain ecosystem as a user. I participated in the Pulse Deck sacrifice. That was my first interaction with the chain or with the future chain. But there was like this huge void in the ecosystem where, basically somebody needed to step up or people needed to step up. So I just found myself falling into that void.
Now, what were you doing before you found Pulse Chain?
Like in crypto prior to Pulse Chain, I was doing trading with bots mostly. That was my main thing for a while. I haven't been in crypto for as long as people think. I kind of got in when Bitcoin was like sort of 50K on the back end of the last bull market. And bot trading worked great then. It worked much less well once we started into the bear market. It was interesting at the time. But when I got into DeFi, I got into Pulse Chain. That was much more interesting.
How did you find your way to Hex and Pulse Chain?
Via a friend in the community, like an actual OG, like day one type guy. It was via them that I had like the opportunity to learn about it, and then I learned about the sacrifice. So at the time I was already too late for the Pulse sacrifice. I think it was still going on, but the rate wasn't very good. And so I got it on the Pulse X sacrifice. And then, several other sacrifices that, may or may not have been better. Then I did the waiting just like everybody else. And now I'm here, running a couple different protocols on the chain.
Now, this far in the cycle, how would you explain crypto to a no-coiner, like your friends and family that aren't in yet?
It's pretty tricky. Generally, it depends on, how old they are, right? Like, I have like my father-in-law, my parents, that kind of thing. Like they get a different explanation than my brother or my cousins. But the concept of digital currency, is what I like to get their mind around. Explain to them. I often start with explaining stable coins, right? And I start with explaining decentralization, right? And it's funny, the old people, like the 70 plus people, they actually really like the decentralization conversation, right? Like these are old hippies, basically, right? Like, these are people who went to high school in the 60s, and they're like, oh, decentralized, be your own bank, that kind of thing. And they actually love that. Most of them aren't really up to the standard you'd want to have them pressing the buttons in a DeFi environment. But yeah, they're down with the decentralization concept.
Yeah, I know my friend's grandpa, I was trying to explain to him what crypto was, and I was just telling him it's like, we set the price. That's the whole point of it. It's like, I try to compare it to stocks. The people who make stocks, they're the ones who set the price, and they can always mess it up. So Yeah, it's there is a little barrier there, but once you can explain it in simple terms, just explain to them that money's changing, it's pretty easy to get the point across after a while, after they see enough Bitcoin ads and stuff like that. Have you been able
Yeah,
to?
no, totally.
Yeah. Have you been able to onboard friends and family to things that you're into?
It's been tricky as far as like pulse chain goes. I generally, like, I'm doing this professionally, right? So it's a little bit different than just, you know, you talk to your buddies in the bar and this is what I'm investing in, right? So like I'm actually you know, have projects on the pulse chain, you know, like utility projects that do things, you know. So when I talk to friends and family, I'll show it to them. I'll tell them what I'm doing. I never make a recommendation, right? Because I just, you know, I want to keep that at arm's length to some extent. I'll often recommended that they learn more, right? And then as far as like the old people goes, I have some of them. I got some of them into ETFs, right? Like my father-in-law, I got him into like Ethereum ETF and a Bitcoin ETF because they can understand that, right? It's more like the stock market. They have exposure to crypto, but they're not, you know, they're not going to get scammed by a fake help desk, which is really the big danger for those people, right? Is that they believe things that they're not used to the technology. So often I'll get my I got my brother into things like that too, like and into, you know, just like the upper layer, like, you know, get them into Ethereum, right? And then when they're in Ethereum, be like, okay, this is what's happening on Pulse Chain. This is where the bridge is. This is how this works. And if I'm going to get somebody I know into stuff, I'll try to get them into very safe things and like let them go from there. Like, this is how you farm stable coins, right? That's a good one.
Yeah, just put them on cores and then let them know there's other stuff there, but it's hard to, you can't really give people financial advice. Even with my friends, I'll show them what I'm doing, but I can't necessarily say, hey, go buy this, because I'm, you know, 9 times out of 10, I'm planning on selling that thing soon. So it's not always easy to give people coinage advice.
Oh, totally.
So, I mean, dude, you're always plugged in. Do you ever take time off? How do you balance life, real life, and your crypto life?
It's difficult. There's definitely been like a shift. The main thing is that like I'm doing this professionally now in the sense that I have no other job, right? So like I work on Pulse Chain. I represent Pulse Chain. I launch protocols on Pulse Chain. That is my full-time employment. So, which might be like a, you know, 60-hour week employment, 70-hour week employment sometimes, but it's like, it is my main focus. So I'm not juggling another career on the side at the moment, right? Or anything like that. But like, as far as like, you know, wife and kids and things like that, like there has been some challenges. You really have to learn to budget your time, and to remember what's important, right? So like you have to be able to step away sometimes. You know I seem like I'm omnipresent in every chat and on every YouTube stream some days, but like often those are specific days, right? Like today I'm on 2 streams. I'm on with you and I'm on with RH Max. But like that's it for today. And then I'm not on, okay, I'm on 1 stream tomorrow, but I'm not on any streams on Saturday, Sunday, or Monday, right? So that's like, you know, there's a couple days there.
So that's Saturday, Sunday, Monday is more so family time?
Often, yeah. Like especially the last couple months here. Like I'm in Canada, so obviously there's snow a lot of the time. There's not right now. So, you know, like the last couple months, I've been trying to take it a little easier on weekends, do things with the family, go on little trips, touch grass, right? Building a deck, that kind of stuff, right? Because when you're in Canada, you need to grasp the opportunity when the sun is shining, because it's not all the time.
Yeah, man, time's more valuable than money nowadays.
Yeah, and that's the big reason that I'm in crypto, right? Is like you want to be able to free your time. So when you have like, you know, smart contracts, immutable code, like things that you don't necessarily always have to look at, and you can be your own bank. You don't have to interact with 1,000 other people to do simple transactions. It's just between you and the blockchain. The long, like obviously I'm spending a huge amount of time now, but I think the long term for me is that I'll spend less time worrying about finances, less time interacting with, other people about things that have anything to do with money.
So you really take pride in the passive income route here, right?
I think there's a niche there. I suspect I'm a little older than you, maybe 20 years or so. And, so that certainly appeals to me, being potentially closer to retirement, though I don't ever see myself really retiring. And I think there's for Pulse Chain, I saw that as the opening, the thing that was missing, right? So like I'm interested in other things personally, but professionally, I see those those passive income routes as something that the chain needs support with, and that's why that's been my focus.
Is that how you go about your building? Do you try to find things that we just don't have yet?
Oh, exactly that. Yeah, like it's literally look for the holes, right? And like I started a little bit late in the game, right? Like as far as building goes, but the long term of it was that I was looking for like, what do we have already? I don't want to step on other people's toes if I don't have to, right? Like business is business, but like, there's a community here and there's no particular reason to, to attack something if we can just build something else. So what do we not have? What do we need? And can my team do it? So, and if that's the case, then yeah, like we look at building it.
So what's your biggest obstacle that you faced being a builder and being a community member, especially in times like this where the sentiment's not always so great?
Sentiment is probably one of the most difficult things, right? Like, and I sort of balanced that with basically ending up being kind of an influencer, even though that was never my intent at all, right? But the fact is that like there's always somebody on Twitter with 15 followers who's willing to troll people who actually do things, right? And check that out sometime. Check how many of the guys who are being a dick on Twitter, click on their accounts, see if they have less than 30 people following them. It seems to be the case quite often.
Oh, yeah.
But like, there's always those aggressive people, but the main thing is the people who are just sad because their bags are down, right? Like who aren't huge dicks. They're just sad because their bags are down, and there's no reason for me to tell them off. Like I'll help them if I can. But like, how do you give somebody advice in that scenario? Like it's really a lot about positivity and just like looking at the glass half full and using facts, in my case, to explain the potential of things, not necessarily my thing. Usually I'm not talking about my things at all. Usually I'm talking about the ecosystem in general, and to like, go through the facts. Most people don't understand all the facts. Go through the tech, right? Which is a big thing, in my opinion, on Pulse Chain. And most people don't understand the tech and be like, this is what's here, right? You could leave now, but here's what I think the potential is. This is the math on the potential. Here, now you have all the details. Now you can make a choice. If people, if they know that you're actually listening to them, right, which is super important, that you're actually listening to their concerns and that you respond, even if the response is not the exact response they want, but you listen to them and you responded, there's a huge effect on that.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really help people who can't help themselves, and those that want to sit and wallow, it's hard to get them out of it. I mean, we all have the right to feel a certain way, but at the end of the day, what do your feelings have to do with your bags? A lot of these trolls, they'll sit behind the comments, but they'll never show their face. So I mean, at first it was a little annoying, but now we just brush it off, and it's a lot easier to just move forward. But yeah, it's about that mindset, man. It's about being positive, and look at the glass half full. A lot of people, man, you got to think about it, though. We're at a point in the cycle where a lot of people expected fireworks already. And a lot of people are over leveraged, and those are the people that are kind of complaining right now.
Totally. Though often I find the people who really complain are the ones they've already exited, right? So, and so they feel more free to complain. Though it is just, yeah, some people their bags are down. It's natural to complain about that. But like from a business perspective, and I have a business background, I always look at people who are, still in as the most important resource. And the next most important resource for like customers on the chain is people who were in but aren't anymore. As a general rule, like your most likely customer is going to be a customer you've had before. So I think as a chain, we need to focus on retaining the people who are here and bringing back the people who were here but left. Those are the prime users that I'd like to see return. People who understand the systems, they understand the chain, they understand DeFi. Maybe they were sad they went somewhere else. Let's invite them back, and then post that we can start bringing in new people. That's just fine. We always need new people, but people who were part of the community and left, they're prime focus for sure.
Okay, to that point, how do we bring those people back when they've left other chains and they've seen green candles elsewhere? How do we bring them back even though they left? Because a lot of capital has left. A lot of people have gone cross chain to Base, Solana, and other chains. I mean, it's not our fault, but that's just true.
And with the high level of users here, a lot of them dabble on multiple chains anyway, right? Like we have people who will dash over to Solana, pick something up, sell it, maybe make a profit and bring it back to Pulse Chain. That's fine. But people who have actually left who were, disgruntled at the time, like we can bring them back with green candles. That's one resource. That's not my department per se, but it is, I think it's on the table. But I think just maintaining the community so that it's kind of like, oh, I left town, I moved to another city, but then when I came home, all my friends were still here. Right? Like we have to give allowances and have open arms, right? Be like, oh, you left, you were kind of a dick when you left, but welcome back, man. Let's go.
In other words, kind of be forgiving in this unforgiving environment.
Exactly. And I think it's it's easy for people to be a dick on Twitter, it seems, right? I think that's why I really respect people who get on the screen. There's a different level of personal responsibility when you're actually present, and people can see you and hear your voice. But as far as users who were dicks, because they were sad and went somewhere else, if they're coming back, we should give them every resource. I think there should even be marketing campaigns around that, maybe even an incentive. Right? And that's a trackable thing. That'd be an interesting idea, eh? Find wallets that had a lot of whatever. We'll use core tokens, Hex, Pulse X, and then find a way to incentivize those wallets to come back. I think your closing ratio on that would be much higher, and your ad spend on that, however you chose to do it, would be much lower than getting brand new, never before seen customers who don't know what Pulse Chain is.
No, because once you light that fire, it'll spread. You wouldn't have to market that too much. Once people know, oh, there's another, my wallet has something in it, they'll have to go buy Pulse to go trade it or whatever. But nowadays we could implement taxes or something to make it to where the system kind of feeds itself. I really like that we went from having peak copies to now the chains making we're bringing memes from other chains over and making it our own. Especially your mom. Your mom's a great onboarding tool because you see how straight up that chart is versus the Solana chart, and it kind of shows people hey, there's stuff over here. There's morals. There's a community. There's power. There's power in the community here as we're working together. But I think we need to kind of just take it easy and be a little patient. A lot of people have high expectations.
Yeah, agreed. I think the meme coin communities on Pulse Chain are very strong. I would really like to see some of those expand out to other chains, not by launching on other chains, but by bridging to other chains. I think that's, and I believe there's been some of that with the Tang Gang. I'd like to see more of that. I think we need Dick with Bud on Ethereum. We need Durkee Turkey to be at the next ETH Denver conference. That kind of thing would be cool.
Is there a bridge to Thui and Solana, or right now is it just Ethereum base?
So I'm not an expert on all the bridging solutions, but right now there's no bridge directly from Pulse Chain to Solana. I believe that the Emperor Seal guys might be working on that. But you could bridge from Pulse Chain to Ethereum, and then from Ethereum to Solana. So you could probably have a double wrap token on Solana. Don't quote me on that necessarily, but I know there's a bridge from Ethereum to Solana, and there's a bridge from Pulse Chain to Ethereum, and you can put any token on those bridges, is my understanding. I know that it is the case for the Pulse Chain one. So yeah, the two steps to Solana, same token.
Let's get people on the Pulse Chain first, and then we can we can go to the bridges. But what
the cart before the horse, or the cart before the bridge in this case? Who knows?
What else do you think that we could be doing right now while things are down, and kind of try to keep a positive vibe going?
I think the main thing at times like this is going to be like keeping the community together, right? Because even if the dips go low, and some people exit, like if the community's still here, like a lot of those people will come back, right? So that's not really an issue. I think the big issue is to like maintain the community, and then when green candles come, when advertising rolls out, which I feel like it will from some things Richard said lately, and we start to get new people, that community is still in place. Like if this community is this strong in effectively a bear market, how strong are they going to be in the Pulse Chain bull market, right? Like they're going to be loud, they're going to be nice in comparison to what you might expect. So I think having the community here in tough times is going to mean that the community is going to be freaking awesome in good times.
And whenever we get to those good times, it's important for us to be very welcoming to the newcomers on, because it's hard to go to another chain and just get bashed for not knowing like how to maneuver. It's going to be really neat when we have such a wide assortment of resources that we can help these people with. I don't think there's this many resources like this in other chains. I mean, I guess so, but I don't know, man. Pulse Chain hits a little different.
Yep. Yeah. Pulse Chain is different because you have that, basically like halfway between a cult and halfway between, being like a workplace. It has that. That's about how I think of it. It's like, these are the people I work with, and maybe we're all also in the same very strange religion. It has that feel,
Yeah. I mean, the fact that there's still people here after all the shakeouts, and the fact that the people are still here trading and there's still volume on chain, even though the pulse is this low, that's a big indicator that there's something brewing, man. And what we got,
totally.
we got 16 or 18 days until the case finito.
That was what I was told was the 20th, though I've had other people say that the July 4th or something like that. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be. I think Richard's going to start getting louder after that. The SEC can no longer resubmit the case at all. That will be, and that'll be really good because, I think we have a lot of good leaders on the Pulse Chain, but we need like somewhat of a central focus for leadership, and we've been missing that. I don't blame Richard for that. I believe he was forced into that position, but like we need that central focus for the chain, right? And some other chains have that, some don't, right? Like who's the leader of Solana? I don't know, but like Solana is kind of scam central, so like maybe we want to have somewhat of a leader, at least in these early days, right? It doesn't mean that Richard couldn't Satoshi down the road, but I'd like to see him start showing up for work, around the 20th. That'd be great, and we can start running through some upgrades to the chain, and bringing the people together, scolding those who were bad, praising those who were good, and move on, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not helping that there's a bunch of fear mongering with the wars and such right now, but I mean, it's the middle of the summer over here. Typically, things don't run until the end of the summer, Q3. So I mean, I feel like there's still light at the end of the tunnel. We're just not there yet. Just got to be a little patient, and the way we spend our time is very important. So the fact that we can talk like this and be on the same page about some things, it's really nice. Other people just need to go touch grass and breathe a little bit. When you're in the trenches, it's people sit at such a low frequency because they're always nervous or they're always on edge, and it's different. It's hard for people to get out of that. When you're a builder, you have a lot of stresses. Just making sure your products are running right. But man, I mean, you seem to find a lot of success.
Well, success is is how you define it some days. But like, the main thing is, that like I actually show up, right? And people need that. I'm accessible. A word of caution there, like I will never DM you. Like I won't message people on Twitter. If FastAbdoul is messaging you, it's probably not FastAbdoul. There's a lot of scammers out there. Be very careful. But like if people reach out to me in my Telegram rooms or on Twitter, like I will respond to them and I'll help them if I can. I don't work for them. I don't have to do anything. This is decentralized finance. But like, if they have a question, if they need help with something, I'll do my best to help them. Not everything is possible, but I'm there for that. So I think that's, people really, they need that. I don't want to say trusted advisor because I'm not advising anybody. I give no financial advice, but they need somebody to reach out to. They need a friend to reach out to that they feel like they can trust. I do my best to be trustworthy, even though not everybody believes that's the case. That is one of my main focuses. And, to have that resource available for people, I think it's made a big difference. And to have somebody who's willing to step up, like on the screen for the community, and have those conversations, have those arguments if it's required. Call somebody down if that's what needs to happen. I think we need more people to step up. We need more people to be leaders in the community because, like I said before, there is a void there. So I'm glad to see you're doing the show. You seem like you're starting to step up, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, I'm trying. RH said he's going to make 1 million millionaires. I really think he was insinuating that he's going to create 1 million leaders. So whatever we got to do to make that happen, man, I think that's more important than the money itself. But
Agreed.
So let's talk about, these shows are typically about 30 minutes. Try to keep it around that. But you want to give a little elevator pitch on your projects?
I won't go into too much detail, but like my two main things are 2Phux, that's 2phux.io, and that's a fork of Convex for the Pulse chain. It's actually a fork of Aura Finance, which is a fork of Convex. It's built on top of the Phux exchange. It's a yield booster, basically, that allows people to make more yield when yield farming. It's built on top of the Phux exchange, which is a fork of Balancer V2. 2Phux is probably the most complicated protocol on the Pulse chain as far as the contracts go. There's like 43 contracts, 143 contracts if you include all the liquidity pools that are kind of like contracts because they're Viper contracts. So it was a really heavy build, as is Convex, of course. But for the users who are into it, who can understand, like they're doing very well because that's the high end of yield farming on Pulse chain. So that's cool. And then I have Ink Printer. So it's incprinter.com, which is a fork of Liquidity. So it's a stablecoin protocol that uses Richard Hart's ink for collateral. And that's doing fairly well too. It has about 5 to 6% of all the ink in existence is locked in the Ink Printer protocol, being used as collateral to make the INCD stablecoin, which seems to be holding up quite well. It's pegged very close to the dollar most of the time, a little bit over, a little bit under, as it's supposed to be. And there's a lot of users who are making decent coin farming with that protocol too. So there's farming options right in there. You can make 20% on single-sided staking of a stablecoin sort of thing, as well as farming options that are paying up to, I think, around 300% using neighboring protocols that are offering to support as well. So including 2Phux, of course, as well as things like Emit Farms or the Phux exchange, and you can farm these stable coins. You can farm the reward tokens. There's lots of different options. So I would recommend people do their own research, look into this stuff before participating. But there's lots to go. And at this point where I feel like Pulse chain's at lows compared to other markets, like it could be a really good opportunity to set yourself up in a farming position where you can get passive income if we're going sideways over the summer. learn what impermanent loss is before participating. That's a really important part of farming in this environment.
Yeah, I'll make sure to put the links to your 2 projects underneath this video whenever we're done. But yeah, it's really important that these things are here for us, that these farms and ways to earn yield are available, because yeah, we don't come here to waste time. You know, we come to crypto to make money, whether it's flipping meme coins or yield farming. It's really it all encompasses together, and it's really nice that you're building stuff that's immutable, trustless. It's just you and the blockchain, and I mean, we need more of that.
Thanks, man. And I'll bring you more. Don't worry, still working.
Yes, sir. Well, hey, yeah, we're creeping up on the 30-minute mark. I feel like I'm gonna have you on later on, so let's get you back on here in the bull run whenever things are really popping, you know. Right
on. Yeah, keep lines of communication open.
Yes, sir. I'll make sure to put all your contact information in the description after I'm done, and on Twitter as well. That way people can follow you. But yeah, man, thanks for coming on the show. Thanks for offering a good, fresh perspective. And yeah, we'll talk soon.
Thanks, Blockhead. Take care.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. So I'll put all of FastAbdoul's information up in the description when we're done. But this is episode 2. Stay tuned later on this afternoon. I'll have Tim Benjamin from the Fitzgerald Company. And yeah, the best in DeFi, baby. Let's rock and roll.
Yeah, from the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole gang. From the block to the blockchain. I yield farm and I mean trade. On Pulse chain, I just DCA the block for the DeFi. Shout out to the whole